Caucus and the Internet Governance Forum for enabling this presentation. And I just want to make a word about Hawa Diakite of Mali, who had hoped to be here. She was unable to be here for some personal reasons, and she was unable to talk to you about her concerns about the pricing issues primarily as they affect the African countries. Her capital is Bamako, and the $185,000 fee that's proposed by ICANN is something that would turn the internet, as far as she's concerned, into something less than a permissible area of permissible innovation. That and, well, with other technical issues would make it difficult. So I look forward to working with Hawa in the future, I have just a couple of slides here for about 5 minutes that'll explain how it is that I came here and how I guess all of you can follow through. I was involved very briefly in 1998 when ICANN was being formed. My first real formal involvement with CityTLDs came in 2001 when my community board, which is the lowest level of governance in New York City, is groundroots governance, passed something called the Internet Empowerment Resolution. Basically said that the city should acquire .nyc and develop it as a public interest resource. In 2002, I encouraged the city to get involved with ICANN's new TLD test, but for a variety of reasons, including 9/11, they were otherwise occupied. In 2005, I got a call from a fellow who encouraged me to get re-engaged in the process, and he'll remain nameless, but he said that they were just about to finish ICANN was about to finish the process, and that I should get involved because we'd be able to get involved for perhaps the second round of CityTLDs. But I started looking into it. In 2006, I got involved with I committed to it, formed a not-for-profit corporation, and attended an ICANN Studentkreis in Prague that was hosted by my neighbor here, Wolfgang. And in 2008, the next big event that occurred was the ICANN passed the new TLD resolution that included cities, which Dirk had provided a good deal of effort into it, as well as others. And at the time we talked about Paris Understanding is what document we talked about, where it would enable cities to talk to one another. And we have a draft of that, and I'll mention that briefly later on. But in 2010, the process went dark. You know, as government started to get involved, there's total lack of information as to what was going on out there. And I thought that, you know, cities are not learning from one another, for one thing, and the public's not engaged in the process. So luckily, the IGC Internet Governance Caucus was able to help sponsor this event, and here we are. So I just want a couple of quick slides for some context, mentioning that cities are amongst our oldest institutions. Barcelona's been around since 300 BCE. The new boy on the block is New York City since 1625. And before there was a Spain, a France, UK, Germany, or USA, there were these cities. The Greek city-states shows that cities have long looked to cooperate with one another. The Hanseatic League up in this neck of the woods, they were around for about 400 years, and did a lot of commerce and ideas were shared between different cities. And pardon me. We're going to hear a little bit more later on about specific applications, but there are a couple of TLD applications that I thought I'd just mention that are really close to my heart. One of which is universal tagging, which is related to the Internet of Things, and it involves giving a name to everything in a city. Every traffic light, every drop curb, fire alarm, utility pipe, traffic light, everything gets an Internet name, and this makes for a programmer-friendly city, especially for the new location-based applications that are on the cell phones. It's also useful for service delivery by the government and others. And one of the things we're doing in New York City is we're changing these neighborhood names that everyone knows, and they have some tourist benefits, but there's no way to communicate locally in New York City. So one of the things we're really looking forward to is having names like Greenwich Village.nyc, Harlem.nyc, Coney Island.nyc, and when we transform it from the old .com internet to the new, more local internet, we're going to have these fantastic local, intuitive neighborhood names that people will be able to link into and find out what's going on and sort of set the course for their neighborhoods as they've never been able to do before. It'll also be very helpful for regional consolidation. New York City used to be Manhattan, This map there used to be the simple little one island, and in 1900 it spread out to be the 5 boroughs. And now we're faced with a situation where we have these names. We have about 800 government bodies in that area on the map. And there's an awful lot of redundancy, an awful lot of inefficiency. And the idea is that what happens when Hoboken, which is right across the river from us, but in New Jersey, a different state, what happens with the Hoboken.NYC name? Who gets that name? And can we somehow broker a more regional government structure by saying, you want to be Hoboken.NYC, you want that name? Absolutely. Just here are the conditions, and just be democratic government, be efficient, and different things of that nature. And we would give it to them, and hopefully this could be true in other areas where there are these borders. It's not, New York isn't unique in that respect. Just note that we are very much an urban planet. More than half the population is now urban. There's sustainable cities may lead to a sustainable planet. It's a vital thing. We can say that CityTLDs are the savior of our Earth. And in terms of governance, I have this wonderful picture here of from Paris. That's Miss Liberty in a Paris suburb in about 1885, but before it was shipped over. But the question is, how do we get cities talking to one another so that we don't all work in our isolated little silos, as it seems to be going on now? And how do we get residents engaged in designing their digital infrastructure? There are a couple of models I could talk about, but I won't today. But we learned something with cable TV in New York for local communication. And the Paris understanding that I discussed before is available on this bit.ly. It's about the end of my comments. I just wanted then to just talk about those in the room here who are going to be heard from in order. I think this is the order that will follow.